Hi, my name is Pete Newell and welcome to my website. This short video is about why and how I make paintings of Bideford Quay and the River Torridge. There'll also be another short video on the website about my Bristol paintings. My work starts with walks, carrying a sketchbook, drawing materials and of course a phone. This is one of my small sketchbooks which I make quick on the spot drawings using a variety of materials, pen, watercolour, chalk and pencil. This drawing became part of my shipyard painting. It's a derelict fishing boat laying on its side on the River Torridge. And this one, if I can find it, is a quick sketch I did of the bridge of one of the clay ships that regularly calls at Bideford port to take clay to various parts of Europe. Other things pop up in these sketchbooks from time to time. This is a study of pots that I did in Cyprus, and somewhere else in here we have this was a study I did where we were down at Appledore looking across to, Instow looking across to Appledore, of a very broody sky. Just a quick watercolour with lots of scratching away at the paper to get the reflections. So the sketchbooks serve a lot of different functions as well as giving me ideas for the actual paintings I want to do. Whilst I worked as a commercial sculptor for 25 years, having got my first 2 degrees, the sketchbooks that I kept at that time reveal an interest in maritime and nautical subjects. And this is one of my sketchbooks from St Ives in 1980. One of my sketchbook pages, a study of the boats moored in the harbour there, the little dinghies moored in the harbour, and several details of ropes and knots, which seem to be another preoccupation that pop up in my sketchbooks from time to time. And they became a constant theme. In larger sketchbooks, as well as observational work, there are workings out for compositions, seeing how major shapes work within the picture frame. This is a study I did of the tugboat Iona, which is moored at Bideford now. It was a London tugboat working on the Thames and is now a houseboat. And in this drawing I've tried to see how taking those details will fill the picture plane to make an almost abstract composition. This is quite an early one, probably about 6-7 years ago, of the Bideford paintings, the Bideford series, working out how I might approach the different things that I was interested in, but still maintain an interest in modernism and abstraction. Tugs are a big part of my childhood memory. I was brought up in Liverpool, and the sound of tugboats working in the day and night became part of my soundscape. And my childhood environment embraced the industrial maritime activities to be found on Liverpool docks in the 1950s and 1960s. As a surfer of 55 years, I spent a lot of my life looking for waves on the western fringes of Europe. And in the same locations as the waves were harbours and ports and quaysides, all providing rich material for drawings. I don't know if you can see that one's a quick sketch of a light on a ship, seagulls of course, and odd bits of ship coming in, all providing rich material with their vessels, ropes, anchors and other elements to be found in those locations. When an idea starts to form, I use sketchbooks to make various studies. This is a larger sketchbook here, to make various studies. This is a page of ripples, trying to work out how to approach, in this case, the ripples to be found in very oily water, and looking at things like tonal changes and colours and shapes to see if I can capture those before starting on the painting. And the large sketchbooks allow me to do that. The large sketchbooks also enable me to work out various compositional ideas. Again, this is the one of the compositional ideas for the painting I did of, which was called Shipyard, which was sparked out of the closure of the Appledore shipyard, but next to that there is an area where lots of boats have been left to decay and rot away. And here's another page similarly looking at possible compositional details, and also working out some problems or some areas I want to address, like looking at what sort of sky is going to be working with the rest of the painting. So the larger sketchbooks take on that importance really in the development of the work. Once an idea starts to form, there are pages and pages of those sorts of tryouts, and then moving on from the sketchbooks I start to make large, almost canvas-sized drawings. This drawing here isn't to do with the painting that's on the website yet. It's a painting of the Helwick lightship, which is in Swansea Maritime Museum, and I was fascinated by the relationship between all the red shapes. It's painted bright red because it was moored out as a permanent feature in the Bristol Channel at one time, and so it has those colours, and all the cables and ropes and other detritus that kind of forms a matrix over the top of those big major red shapes. The painting that came from that was then selected for the Welsh Open and was exhibited in South Wales and in the Mall Gallery in London. And this gives me a chance to work out perhaps moving some components, some elements around to try and make a tighter composition. I'm always looking to see what the eye of the viewer is going to be doing within that rectangle or square, and is there anything that's going to lead the eye of the viewer out of the composition, and so I make adjustments to try and keep the eye of the viewer working within that picture frame. Whoops. This is a drawing I did of the Oldenburg. This was, as explained further on in the website, this was about a reflection that the Oldenburg had in the puddle of water next to where it's moored on the quayside. And again, I'm working out various things and moving little bits around, not too much because I've got to keep some sort of reality of detail, but moving some bits around to keep that tight composition. And also working out things like lettering. I often try and avoid lettering because I think it's too much of a hook for people to latch onto and they don't see the rest of the painting. But in things like this one in the Oldenburg, it was essential to put that in. So I was working out how to paint lettering rather than rendering as a graphic designer might render lettering. This drawing is one of my favourite drawings. This drawing came as part of the work for my painting December Quay, which was a very cold morning. So in this drawing, again I've used chalk, charcoal, pen and wash just like the other drawings, and I've played around with, this is the Seven Seas, a salvage boat that's often moored in Bideford, and because it's a salvage boat it's often ready for action. So on this cold morning its orange lights were still glowing out because its generators running and the lights were running. And then this here is the Iona, and I was playing around with how close to put those two to give tightness of the composition, and then also working out the relationship between the top part of the painting where the detail is and the landscape is, and the reflections. So it's still, I think, a sort of abstract relationship of two major shapes and how much proportion of the canvas those two occupy. And there's other drawings around here which are to do with various features and so on that I get involved with. I often go out and draw things like chains and anchors and ropes just to keep practicing drawing. These are done very quickly with beryl pens and a wash and chalk and chalk on and scratching away at the paper. Anyway, that's hopefully given you some explanation about the orange of the paintings and why and how I go about them. So please enjoy the website and thank you very much.